53 into the round over Juan Estrada. That was a non-title fight, but they made a deal moments before we came on here this evening that the winner of Blake versus Kumalo will get a title shot at Galloway. And if they needed to add any more incentive to these two fighters, they're certainly taking care of that with that announcement, Sean.
But I tell you, that could really hurt Kumalo, and Blake for that matter, because now they're not concentrating on this fight. This is the most important fight for Nika Kumalo. He's got to win tonight in order to be able to fight Galloway. And I say that, and I should also say for Robin Blake, too. Now, as he's coming into the ring, Nika Kumalo, a lot of pressure on his back. He's got to have his thoughts solely on Robin Blake.
Kumalo, another of the South Africans here to fight tonight, and Blake will wake him up with his shocking pink outfit as he comes strolling into the ring. Before we stay with this one, final thoughts on Elvis Franks and where's he headed?
Elvis Franks has got to, you know, he's got one loss, but it was his first fight. He's got to get back into the gym. He's got good people around him with Curtis Coates, former welterweight champion of the world, knows boxing. Get back into the gym and get to work on those basics. Also, quit worrying about the first half of the round. Start thinking about the last half and the long run. Where the amateur boxers really hurt themselves is they try to blast out the first part of the round.
And we're set now for the battle of the welterweights. Let's go to the ring announcer here, Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee assigned for the next bout of the evening is Mr. Jerry McKenzie. The next bout of the evening, the main event of the night, featuring 10 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of Cape Town, South Africa, weighing in at 146 1/2 pounds, with a professional record of 30 wins, 3 defeats, 2 draws, with 14 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Nika, the Sting Kumalo. And in the blue corner, from Levelland, Texas, weighing an even 147 pounds. His professional record consists of 33 wins, 7 defeats, with 21 KOs, the very popular Rockin' Robin Blake.
Robin Blake out of Lubbock, Texas.
And he's got the favorite of the crowd. Really a nice gentleman, real friendly, real warm. Very nice kid, except to Nika Kumalo. I know he's not going to be very nice to him.
Had a chance to visit with Blake earlier today, and a guy who plays a little golf, some baseball, any sport he can try, and certainly one who says, hey, I still want to be the world champion. But he's also got his priorities in order as he's attending South Plains College in Texas and hopes to become he doesn't say police officer, a peace officer one of these days. And you admire that when people are looking beyond their careers.
You bet. So many fighters rely on just the boxing. And he comes out first part of this round and throws a right hand. He's switching back and forth from the southpaw stance over to right-handed. He is a natural southpaw. I'm talking about Robin Blake.
Blake had over 300 amateur fights, 298-7 is amateur record, 28 years old now, and 33-7 as a pro, and this is his 9th year.
Well, he won the State Golden Gloves Championship, Junior Olympic National Championship, Sports Festival Championship. He turned pro in August of '81 against Sugar Gonzalez. He won 22 in a row, including wins over people like Juan Figueroa, Carlos Santana, Primo Ramos, Ricardo Jimenez, Chris Calvin, Ruben Munoz, Sterling McPherson, Tony Baltazar, Melvin Paul. And from that, he picked up a #1 rating. Suffered his first defeat against Tyrone Crawley. That was after he had 101 fever, took off a lot of weight, and he also had a root canal done just before that fight. That was back in October of '83. He lost his next fight to Harry Arroyo, split decision in 10, got back on the winning track with 5 in a row before being stopped by Jimmy Paul in the 14th round. That was June 30th of 1985, which incidentally was his mother's birthday. Can you imagine that being beat on your mom's birthday? That would be terrible.
Well, you mentioned if there's a criticism in his career, it might come where, certainly not from lack of competition, but maybe the scheduling of those fighters that he has had to go through back-to-back sometimes.
Well, I just wonder if he wouldn't have done better without having a different schedule. He's fought too many hard fights back-to-back, and many in boxing feel like his better days are yet from yesterday. He came back in February of '86 to go the distance with Meldrick Taylor, fought Harold Brazier in March of '88 in a spectacular fight. Blake had Harold down in the 8th, and Brazier got up to KO Robin in the 9th. Last fight was December 12th of '89 to James Martinez. He beat James in 8 rounds.
First round going as expected, feeling each other out.
And that was the fight plan. He said the first round he's going to be on his toes, do in and out. He says, I'm going to get my opponent, Nika Kumalo, leaping at me, and then I'm going to use uppercuts.
Blake 28, Kumalo 26.
Blake saw Kumalo fight Mauricio Aceves back in October of '89. And also against Kenny Weiss, he said that that Kumalo was sloppy, that he wore down after 5.
You're watching Professional Boxing on HSE. More coming up from Dallas in just a moment. You look there at Nika Kumalo, the Sting as he's nicknamed. Who won that opening round in your book, Sean?
Wow, that one was tough. I scored the opening a 10-10 round, a draw. The fights here in Texas scored in the 10-point must system. The winner of the round must receive 10 points. The loser can receive from 9 down to 6 points. If both of them win a round, then it's obviously a 10-10 round. Oh, Nika Kumalo. Now by the second round, you're starting to loosen up. You're warming up a little bit. Get the muscles moving.
You mentioned the scoring, and you do fights all over not only this country but the world. Is there a scoring system that's a favorite of yours, or a set of rules that you'd say, hey, here's what I'd like to have?
Oh, the 10-point must system, in my opinion, is the best, and that's what most people use. There is a push down from Robin Blake. Now, what you want to do with your opponent is get him on the canvas. However that happens, get him down there. Get him used to the canvas, make him like it down there, and then send him down there. But for Nika Kumalo, he's got to get busy. He's got to cut off this ring, slide over to his side. He can't allow for Blake to run around this ring. This is just what Blake said he was going to do in this match.
Under 2 minutes in the second round. It's a scheduled 10-rounder in the main event here tonight at the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas, Texas.
Let's go, Robin. It's all right. Throw him off like that.
The crowd says he ain't got his dancing license. Talking about Robin Blake up on his toes here in the second round.
That's it. There you go.
You can see the experience of Blake, the confidence that he has.
You bet. One of the problems, and we talked a little bit about this today, Bill, one of the problems that many fighters have after about 25 fights, you start reading the headlines. You start believing in yourself and believing that you're invincible and that nobody can hurt you. Well, consequently, many times you change your style to fight flat-footed and hang on the inside and allow your opponents to punch you. That's what happened to Robin Blake.
Some is good exchange there.
And now Blake is scoring well. He gets a warning for holding behind the head.
Come on, stop that jab.
Robin Blake, 21 knockouts in his 33 victories. Kumalo with 14 in his 33-2 record.
Move around, lateral.
And he was, I was talking about after about 20, 25 wins, fighters start to settle down more. It was 22-0 that Robin Blake, in the pink trunks, was beat by Melvin Paul.
So he's gone 11-7 since that 22-0 start.
Right. And then his problems started, but now he's on a different style. He's boxing more. He's got to realize that he's not a heavy puncher.
Blows after the bell, and you see Robin Blake listen in.
Keep coming in with that up. Drop that double hook. That's good. Keep that long jab off him. Set him up. Maybe on that. Don't catch no wild shots. You can tell when he's fixing to get up.
He's throwing a lazy jab, Ronnie, so just time him with it, nail him just like you did a while ago, Ronnie.
Deep breath. How you feel? Good.
Blake getting advice from his father, Roger Blake. Is also in his corner his brother, Keith Blake. And there's a look at Nika Kumalo. And now we'll take a look at the hook coming up by Blake.
And that second round was extremely important. Blake out-punched, he out-hustled Nika Kumalo. But the action at the end of the round could favor Kumalo. He wants Blake to sit down and trade with him. He wants Blake mad at him. So we'll see if that helped for Kumalo.
Shoot a straight left.
Kumalo, born in Cape Town, South Africa, makes his home there. And one of 3 South Africans on the card here tonight in Dallas.
Come on, Robin. Come on, Robin. Let's go. Let's go. Hit him.
The other 2 were victorious as Dingaan Tobela beat Pasquale Aranda, TKO in the 4th. And of course the heavyweights just completed Francois Botha, unanimous decision over Elvis Franks.
Now go to the right.
And boy, Robin Blake is on his bicycle. Look at him moving. The way he's moving is so difficult to box against a guy. Look at him move to his right. What he's doing is he's circling around behind Nika Kumalo. Oh boy, that is hard to fight. And you can see Kumalo thinking about what he needs to do. If you think about an opening, it's gone.
Now Kumalo trying to close in and cut it off. Robin Blake listed at 5'11", Kumalo at 5'9", but it appears there's more than a 2-inch height difference here.
Well, I had always heard that Robin Blake was actually 6 foot. I know he said today that he was 5'11", but he looks taller than that. He must look much taller to Nika Kumalo. Good punch for a southpaw. The way they stand, they're susceptible to those left hooks. Now, if Kumalo can get Blake to stand in there with him, it's just what he wants.
Double hook him. Double hook him, Robin. Hit him with a straight left.
Round 3 here. It's been a good fight so far.
Very good fight. Between rounds, they were telling Robin Blake, catch your opponent with the uppercut. That was part of his fight plan. Use the double left hook, and he's lazy with his jab. Talking about Nika Kumalo dragging that left hand when he's pulling it back.
Come on, Robin, let's go.
And remember, the winner gets a shot at the titleist, Manning Galloway, who won earlier tonight. We'll be back with more boxing here on HSE from the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas, Texas. Sean keeping his own score sheet. How do you mark that one down? This is a difficult fight to score, isn't it?
That third round was extremely difficult. The first part of the round, it was all Kumalo, but right at the end, Blake may have stole the round. I give it to Kumalo, though. Right toward the end of the round. There's a look into the sting.
Look at Kumalo in some of the action from the third round.
And here is the hook. Look how Robin Blake is moving to his right, and he runs right into the hook. Good senses by Kumalo as to what's going on. You want your opponent to move it into your punches just like that left hook right there. You can also force your opponent into your punches by moving your feet. That's what Kumalo is doing.
This a 4th round starting here of a scheduled 10 rounder. You see this one going the distance?
Yes.
Robin,
so far.
When he comes to you, throw a straight left and a right hook.
There'll be 2 tired guys if they do. They are really going at it. Again, remind you of the heat in here. A 95-degree day in Dallas, Texas. It was very warm in this building without any people when we walked in here 3 or 4 hours before the fights. And you turn those lights up and get in there and work up a sweat.
You got to go straight left when he comes at you.
It is hot.
Oh, and a nice straight right hand from Kumalo. And again, Blake is hurt.
Blake just covering up right now. 2 minutes to go in the round, too.
Just where Kumalo wants for Blake to stand in there. Blake's got to get on his bicycle. They're telling him to move and punch in his corner. Over there in his corner, his father, Roger Blake.
Come on, Robin, straight left.
Kelly Blake, his brother, and Ron Hatcher.
There you go, that's it. That's it, there you go. That's it. Be first. Come on, Robin, be first.
Might have heard that saying, be first, Robin. Again, easier said than done after what you've been through in this round.
Right, but what they're telling him to do is not to wait on Kumalo to get off. What he's doing is he's waiting for Kumalo to punch, then he's trying to counter.
Come on, Robin. Straight left, right hook, left.
You can't do that with a fighter like Kumalo. Kumalo just
That's it.
walking Blake around this ring. He's waiting for Blake to set down. He's waiting for Blake to get tired.
Robin, put the combinations together.
1 minute to go in this, the 4th round.
Come on, Robin. Left, right, left. Left, right, left. Put them together. Left, right, left.
First round that's been clearly controlled by either fighter.
Yeah, and is this the turning point of this fight?
Oh, what a blow there by Kumalo. And he follows it up with a couple of rights.
Come on, Robin. Left, right, left.
And Robin back on his bicycle.
Come on, Robin. Left, right, left. Jab and go. Jab and keep him off him.
Jab and go, they're telling Blake. Kumalo just stalking his opponent. Look at him shifting those feet. He's shifting that weight back and forth. Also, shifting his weight like that is moving his head just a little bit. Trying to take the power away from Blake.
Come on, Robin.
Wrapping up the 4th round.
And a good round. Right at the end of the round comes Kumalo. Good point for him. Impressive round for him. Nika Kumalo. And you know now, Robin Blake is not fighting after the round, after the bell. He's not making faces over at Kumalo.
And some of this partisan Texan crowd applauding Kumalo for his effort in taking control of the fight there in the 4th round.
Good fans here in Texas. A lot of them come out to see this man, Robin Blake, but they do respect Nika Kumalo's efforts. Here's a look at some of the action from the 4th round. Kumalo and Blake getting right after it.
Right here.
Kumalo is hurting Blake here.
Don't try to hit him. Hit him in the
The
chest.
turning point of the fight.
Didn't work.
Good combinations.
Ready to go.
Here is a little bit later in that 4th round. Blake got back on his bicycle. He tried to stay on the outside, but now Kumalo is putting more pressure on him, and he's closing the gap between the two.
And we go to round 5. Robin Blake against Nika Kumalo. And Blake trying to reestablish something now after Kumalo taking control in the 4th.
Let that left hand go, they're telling Kumalo, and he did.
You mentioned earlier, Sean, that Kumalo seemed to be thinking before he was swinging, and if you start thinking too much or planning, it's too late. All of a sudden, it's like that plan went on autopilot.
Well, you know, I also talked about how normally around the 3rd round, the professionals get heated up. They get those things, those juices working, everything's flowing, you got everything working about the 3rd round. And that's just the round that I thought the turning point in this fight has come so far. And that was for Nika Kumalo. He's got Blake right now where he wants him. Blake is not punching. There's no retaliation from Rockin' Robin. Now this doesn't score any points. Moving around without throwing punches doesn't win fights.
Come on, Robin. Get back in.
Rockin' Robin reeling a little bit right now, not rocking.
just where Nika Kumalo wants Blake to be on the ropes.
He stumbled on that blow. Well, Kumalo owning this fight right now.
Come on, Robin. Let's go, Robin.
Tremendous command. This is the ring generalship from Kumalo. Boom. The straight right hand.
Come on, Robin. There you go, Robin. That's it.
Now Kumalo has figured out the style of Blake, and also Blake is not running around circling like he was earlier in this fight. He's standing flat-footed more. Now it is easier to fight when you're flat-footed. When you stand in front of your opponent, you can take a few shots and just roll with the punches, but it's easier to fight. Less than 30 seconds in this, the 5th round. Good fight.
Jab hook, Robin. Jab hook. Jab hook. Jab hook. Jab hook.
Yeah, Blake hasn't really shown that he is hurt too much, but again, you start wondering, what is his plan right now? It's been mainly just try to avoid. Kumalo again with him in the corner. You're watching professional boxing on HSE. More coming up from Dallas in just a moment.
He's right in front of you. We're over there. Where are we at? We're in the 5th round.
Let's go, Rob. You can do it, ain't you? Let's go.
You got good jab, good combination. Put that left. Set him up for it.
Blake comes out for the 6th round and
Jab hook left.
might have heard his father saying, as Robin asked, where are we? His father said, we're in the 5th. So
Come on, Robin. Jab a hook.
even the guy out of the ring not quite sure what round we're in sometimes.
That could give you some problems. You know, you
Can't afford that, can you?
set your long-range strategy up in the early rounds, and if you think you're 1 round later, that strategy could be that strategy doesn't come along until 1 round too late.
Jab hook left.
It sometimes might be a case where your cornerman may not even realize he made a mistake.
Oh,
He may be
absolutely.
thinking, yeah, we finished 5. Meanwhile, your boxer is saying, oh, that's 6 down.
Right.
We are in the 6th here.
Or the fighter may be thinking this is the 5th round when it's really the 6th. Oh, but it is, you get excited in there in the heat of battle. And the corner, it's tougher, more difficult to work the corner than it is to box, in my opinion. In the boxing ring, you can do something about your nervousness and your excitement. In the corner, you can't. You just got to sit over there and sweat it out.
Well, especially for a father, it's really got to be tough.
Very, very difficult. You got to look at your fighter, your son, objectively as your fighter. Blake is on his bicycle.
And to stay away from the sting of Nika Kumalo.
Now get serious. Let's go, Robin. Get serious now. Come on, Robin. Get serious now. Let's go, Robin. Hey, Robin. What you think for? Get serious now. Now go back in there and get mean.
Now, one thing that Kumalo may want to go back into the gym and work on as he's looking at the tapes of this fight is cutting that ring off. He's allowing for Blake to run around way too much.
Straight left right there.
See how Blake is circling around Kumalo? If Kumalo were sliding over to his left, like right now, he would cut the ring
Force
off.
him back the other way.
Exactly, and you cut the ring off there. Now, when he did it right there, shows me that he knows how to do it. There is Blake now again on his bicycle now. Right there is where Kumalo could slide over and cut that ring in half. And then you cut it in a quarter. And then you put your man in the corner. Oh, good body punches from Kumalo. And I know, Bill, I've talked about it tonight. Easier said than done. You've got a lot of things to worry about when you're in the ring.
Let's go, Robin. Come on.
Boom, and it looked like Robin Blake got his bell rang, because just at the bell, Kumalo threw a right hand.
The sound effects were there. So we've completed 6 rounds here of Blake versus Kumalo. This copyright program is presented by the Authority of Home Sports Entertainment and Robert F. Spagnola Incorporated, and is intended solely for the non-commercial use of our viewing audience. Any other use of this telecast without the express written consent of HSE is prohibited.
You ain't throwing a straight left hand and left hook. This guy's coming in.
Bill Land and Sean O'Grady with you in Dallas, Texas. We'll take a look at some of the body work here of Kumalo against Blake.
The work downstairs, Kumalo is trying to get Blake to drop his hands. Here's a little bit more downstairs, and then he's going to come up. Down, and watch this, and then up. Trying to get Blake to bring his guard down, and then leave his chin exposed. Robin Blake, a vast amount of experience, in with all the top fighters in the lighter weights division, the lightweight, junior welterweight, and welterweight class.
His 41st professional bout. He's had 21 knockouts. He may need one of those tonight to come back against Kumalo. You give Kumalo the last 4 rounds.
I gave him
After a draw, maybe the first, and then 1 to Blake in the second.
the last 4. I gave a draw the first, the second to Blake, and ever since then, it has been Nika Kumalo. Kumalo, the turning point in this fight was in that 3rd round when Kumalo took control. He took command. And Blake has since quit punching. You know what he did is he tasted the power early in this fight, and now he's real defensive.
2 minutes remaining in the 7th round, a scheduled 10-rounder.
The biggest negative on Robin Blake throughout the boxing circle is that he lacks power and he's so defensive. Real, technically a defensive fighter, but it's difficult to win fights on defense. Now I know the judges scored a little bit for defense, actually a quarter for defense.
You want to show good defense, but you want to be defensive.
Yes, and you want to be effectively aggressive also while you're showing your defense. Clean punches and ring generalship, all the things the judges are looking for. 3 judges scoring this match. Oh, leaving himself open is Blake. Now look how Kumalo has tightened up here. I mean, he's brought the hands up, the elbows in, he's gone back to the basics of boxing, and he's throwing his weight behind his punches. Turning the heat up a little bit here in the 7th round, less than 1 minute to go.
He's trying to unload right here, too.
And in comes the towel. From the corner, Roger Blake tossed the towel in, had seen enough from his son, from Nika Kumalo. Kumalo had turned it up here in this 7th round, and when he did, Roger Blake in that corner decided that was enough.
Decided his son had had enough, and there was no reason to let it continue. That, in his estimation, he had no chance of winning.
Good call.
So it stopped in the 7th as Kumalo defeats Robin Blake. You're watching professional boxing on HSE. More coming up from Dallas. Kumalo improves to 31-3-2 his professional career. Blake falls to 33-8, and as Sean O'Grady mentioned, he was 22-0 at one point and has since gone 11-8 in his career. And this is a difficult loss for him as the winner, Kumalo, gets a shot at the championship. Blake was ranked number 9. Kumalo, trying to get in those rankings, will probably do so on the verge of this fight, I guess.
And you know, we saw a different Kumalo than we saw in the first couple of rounds of this fight. He really turned it up, he turned it on, he showed what champions are made of.
Let's go to our ring announcer, Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the 7th round. Referee Jerry McKenzie stops the bout. The winner by a TKO, Nika the Sting Kumalo.
Kumalo gets congratulations from Rockin' Robin Blake as Kumalo was impressive here tonight, winning in the 7th round. And We'll have a chance to visit with the winner with Sean O'Grady in just a moment. Robin Blake in the feature event. Here's Sean O'Grady to talk to the winner.
Nika Kumalo, a good win over Robin Blake tonight. Any problems?
No, I had no problems.
Well, he had a good second round.
Yes, because he was throwing punches, unexpected punches. You see, so he gave me the problem that because I was so relaxed, thought he was running away. So when I saw him in the second round throwing punches, unexpected punches, then I retreated a little bit.
Did you turn up the heat, Nika, in that 7th round? Were you trying to take him out?
I wanted to take him out in the second round because I knew he was going to fall. Because he was going a little bit softer and softer in every round.
Yeah. And the turning point, in my estimation, was in that 3rd round. You had to fight him off of you.
Yeah, I had to fight him because in the first and second round, I wanted to have a look at him, and I wanted to know his style of fighting. I knew he was playing around with me. He had a style to fight, but I didn't want to show him that I wanted to fight in the first, second round. But in the last round, in the last few rounds, I knew I was going down.
Is this the toughest man you fought?
No, there are more tougher.
Best name on your record?
Yes, it can be a bad name because he's rated on the world, number 9 in the world. Yeah. That means I'll be rated.
Will this put you in the ratings?
Yes, that will put me in rating. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, there's talk, and I think it's a done deal, of you and Manning Galloway. Did you get a chance to look at the Galloway today?
I didn't have a chance. I'll look at him when I come back home because they might have taped the fight. But I don't think Galloway can give me a good fight. Otherwise, I can take him anytime.
Yeah? Well, is there anything you have to work on tonight? You looked very impressive. You won from the third round on.
Yes, I have to try and spar more with the southpaws, and so that I can be in good shape for the world title fight.
His southpaw stance give you any problem?
No, not any problem, but I've got to think each and every minute of the round. I've got to think. I can't relax when I'm fighting a southpaw.
Okay. Well, Nika Kumalo, you've got a little bit of work to do. World Championship fight on the horizon. Perhaps we're looking right now at the next champion of the world. Bill, standing at ringside.
Thank you, Sean, and congratulations to Nika Kumalo, and congratulations to all of the South Africans tonight who were victorious here this evening, and we hope our audience in South Africa enjoyed the bounce this evening as Dingaan Tobela with a TKO of Pasquale Aranda in the 4th round earlier. Also, Francois Botha, unanimous decision in a heavyweight bout over Elvis Franks, and here, Nika Kumalo defeating Robin Blake in the 7th round as Blake's father, you see him there, getting ready to throw the towel in as Robin Blake goes down to Nika Kumalo. That is our main event tonight, with Kumalo defeating Robin Blake. Again, thanks to the folks in South Africa for taking in these bouts tonight. And we'll be back with more on HSE.